Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Meka, and on this channel we talk all things love, joy, and a little bit of luxury. So generally speaking, on this channel we're talking about the things that light me up, which can include everything from travel to perfume to dance. So it's a lot of different things that I try to incorporate in my life that really does light me up. But today I want to talk about what in my life actually fills me up, and that is more from a spiritual perspective. And really kind of even to double down on that, I really want to talk about my spiritual journey. And it really started about, I guess, about 5 years or so ago. And at that time, I was working in sales, and I was working about 70 to 80 hours a week, which is kind of crazy. I was in a marriage that was not going very well, and I also was in a phase in my life, which honestly had been majority of my life, where I was just people pleasing. So I was just literally over giving all the time, financially giving up my time, like literally doing the most, just overextending myself in general. And I was just I was burnt the hell out. And I just ended up getting really sick. I ended up getting sick. I ended up in the hospital for about a month. So I had like back-to-back surgeries. Really, it just came down to me not taking care of myself and just being in a high state of stress really for just such a long period of time. And, I ended up finally getting out of the hospital, but I was still sick for at least a year after that. So this was something that was going on for a long time. The other thing that happened during that time was that I ended up getting a divorce. So 2020 for me, like most people, was terrible. And but the realism is that I look back now and I find myself in deep gratitude for that period of my life, because it really truly just catapulted me into where I am now, the woman I am now, and the woman that I'm becoming. So I have deep gratitude for all the things that have happened to kind of lead me into this point. And so, following that crazy period, I also ended up like quitting my job. So, it just literally was like one thing after another, just because again of the level of stress of it. And so I found myself single, and just really trying to like figure this thing out. And one of the things that kind of came post divorce, and I'm sure just from like everything that I went through in that relationship and from the divorce and everything, I ended up developing a stutter, which was, I don't even, it was just the craziest thing. I had never stuttered in my life. I had never, ever. I mean, I had always been the kid in school that's like, ma'am, your kid talk too much. Like literally that was me my whole life. And so to have, have that happen, I was in at work. And again, at that time, I worked in sales and hospitals, so I would be assisting doctors, and I literally couldn't even get my words out. And it was embarrassing. It was scary because I also didn't really know what was going on. And so I literally just was like, what the heck is going on? I was going to the doctors trying to figure out. They didn't really have any more information for me. And then I also was like, trying to Google and figure it out. And just one day I Googled and I'm like, I am stuttering. I don't know why. I've never stuttered before. It was literally like the longest Google search ever. And I was just like, because I didn't know what to do. And it actually brought some results up, and the results said your throat chakra could be blocked. And I'm like, what's a throat chakra? Because I didn't know any of that stuff at that time. And it kind of led me down this beautiful journey really of just self-discovery, discovery of kind of like what or how I see the world working. And seeing that, okay, we're not just this skin suit, these bodies, we are electromagnetic beings. We have energy centers. And so it really was a beautiful process, and I'm really grateful for it, because now I look back and I'm like, wow, it was crazy when all that was happening, but I feel really deep gratitude because it brought me to where I am. It brought me again to the woman that I'm becoming. And so following that, I really went through a process of just kind of what we call ego death, and just really dying to the parts of me that really weren't serving me anymore. And that was, a whole process. And maybe I'll talk about, this phases of spiritual awakening journey in a different video. But for the sake of time, I went through kind of that whole ego death and kind of letting go of parts of me that it was just really kind of scary to let go, because it was a part of my identity at that time and who I thought I was. And so I started, trying to put myself back together, and trying to put myself back together in a way that felt right for me and felt aligned for me, I think is the right word. And so I searched out mentors, some of which were here on YouTube. And I feel really deep gratitude for those individuals who really did help me along the way, because, when you're in this journey and it feels like you're in the dark just trying to feel your way around, and, you find someone who can be your lantern and guide you out, it really is a blessing. And so I feel really grateful for, again, the mentorship that I found. And my goal and my desire is to be that light, to be that lantern for somebody else. And so, again, kind of putting my life back together, I started incorporating things that I hadn't really ever done before. So one of those things was meditating. And I kind of did a little bit of meditating before, but it wasn't like on a consistent basis, and it wasn't like a deep surrendering meditation. It was just something that I did. And so I started doing it on a consistent basis and with greater intention. And so now I meditate for at least like 15 or 20 minutes a day. And again, this is just a part of just the routine that I've built for myself. Another one of the things that I do on a daily basis is journal. And what I feel like journaling has done for me is that I feel like what happens is in life, what we can sometimes do is instead of fully processing maybe what's going on with inside of us or even around us, we kind of hot potato it to somebody else instead of actually dealing with it first, and then coming to a friend or a family member empowered to kind of talk it through with them. And so that was something that I started to do as well. And actually, to circle back from a meditation perspective, one of the things that I felt really helped in terms of just overall was that in meditation, I kind of look at it as where prayer, you're talking to God, but meditation is where you're kind of listening. And for me now, I feel like my inner compass, my inner guidance is so much stronger because I take that time to listen. And so in listening, it's guided me to start journaling. It's guided me to start exercising on a regular basis. And those are some of the things that, again, that I'm doing to kind of continue to evolve into the highest and better version of myself. And so, again, working out. And so I try to do that several times a week. I'm pretty active. So that's really important to me as well, just to be active in general. So that would be something that I would definitely, recommend. Moving your body. Again, we are energetic beings, so making sure that the energy is not staying stagnant in any parts of your body. And you can do that by simply just moving, even if it's yoga or stretching. Again, start somewhere. And honestly, some of the things that I did to kind of build habit of working out, because honestly, I was never a type of person that worked out, like for real. And I read a book, I can't remember which one it was. If I could think of it, I'll put it in the description. But it really focused on building habits. And, when you start building a habit, you want to kind of keep the links of the chain together. So if you got 4 links in a chain, meaning that you're working out 4 days a week, just make sure you keep to that and don't break any links in the chain. So for me, what that looked like is working out 4 days a week for 20 minutes. And so let's say if I can't do that 20 minutes, I'll show up for 5 minutes, or I'll show up for 10 minutes, or whatever the case may be, because I want to keep the links in that chain. And that really has actually helped me, because on days where I don't feel like it, I'm like, let me just do 5 minutes. And that 5 minutes always turns into 20. So I'm still being active, and I'm still staying to the commitment that I made to myself. And what I'm also learning is that it really is important to build that trust with yourself. When you say you're going to do something, that you do it, and the more you build that trust with yourself, the more you start to build confidence in yourself just overall, because you've seen yourself do the things that you said you were going to do. You've seen yourself accomplish things. And so just kind of the natural byproduct of that is kind of helping you build confidence. The other thing that I do that I feel like has really helped me is really being intentional about what I intake from a social media perspective. I am really intentional about curating my social media feed, and just making sure that what I'm intaking feels good for me, feels nourishing to me. So if I'm looking at or thinking about my social media feed, it's uplifting, empowering. And so I encourage you to even look at your social media feed and start looking at some of the content. If you don't feel empowered by it, if you don't feel encouraged by it, stop following them. Stop following, because all these things really do make a difference into starting to cultivate the version of yourself that you like or that you love. Because when you start stepping into that version of yourself, it comes out of your mind and your thoughts, and what attributes to your thoughts is kind of what you're taking in on a day-to-day basis. And so, like I said, I'm very intentional about that, and I really do feel like it's made a difference, because I used to go on social media and I used to put my phone down. I kind of would feel like drained. I would feel like just not so great. And now when I go on, I feel like encouraged, because everything I'm seeing is like encouraging and, supporting the life and the vision that I have for myself. So I definitely would encourage you to do that too. And I would also say, I guess kind of the last point, and it kind of go along with that, is really how you focus your attention just in life in general, though. Focusing on the things that you want as opposed to focusing on the things that you don't want. And trying to be optimistic about how you are expecting things to go, or anticipating things to go. So just expecting the good in life, because we can just get in the habit of just being like, oh, it didn't work out in the past, it ain't gonna work out now. But again, that's all a decision. And the more we start to think about and become intentional about reprogramming our minds, reprogramming our thoughts and changing our beliefs, even if yesterday it ain't work out, today I'm deciding that it is. And so I know those are a lot of different things, but even if you chose one of these things to do, I definitely would implore you to do it, because I think at the end of the day, we're all just on this journey trying to become better versions of ourselves. And it's important that we start even making kind of those small micro changes in our lives to kind of help propel us in the direction that we want to go in. So I encourage you to do it. If I mention anything today that you're doing or you want to do, definitely drop it down in the comments. I would really love to hear, some of the things that you're doing, because heck, they may help me out in my journey, because I would really appreciate it, actually. So, definitely please do that. I also want to mention that I'm going to be offering coaching services. So like I mentioned before, if you're going through a season in your life where you're trying to figure things out as well, and you kind of are looking for somebody to kind of help you step through that, whether it's from a spiritual perspective or just kind of navigating life in general, I'm happy to hop on a call with you, and we can kind of talk about some ways that we can work together to start, whether it's building healthy habits, or just kind of shifting your mindset so we can start moving toward going toward the goals and the life of your dreams. And I will be honored to support you with that. And so thank you again. If you stayed this long, I really appreciate it. Again, this is more of the content that's going to be coming for this channel, because again, this is what fills me up, and this is what I feel called to do, and I feel excited and honored to do it. So I'd love to have you guys on this journey with me, and please be sure to like, subscribe, all that good stuff. You know what to do. Thanks so much. Take care, guys.